Risky restraint. When we have been held back sexually, the desire to feel more joy, often unintentionally, leads to more restraint when the pendulum swings from one extreme to another. I dedicate this to a young woman who long ago was my friend. She blossomed early without the capacity for joy. As a teen, she caught the eye of many young men who were far less than kind to her, seeing her value only as a means to their ends. She thought sex overrated, and though she wasn't against it, in a contest between sex and pizza, pepperoni was a contender. She found a kind soul to marry and had a family, and then something unexpected happened. In her 30s, her capacity for pleasure woke up. As her body felt more alive, she wanted other men, and women, and pornography. She felt utterly cheated because she made huge life decisions, not knowing her desires were subject to such radical change. She struggled to put a lid on the impulse. She started using prescribed drugs, but eventually she burst out in a very painfully destructive way and found herself in even more unkind situations. She swung between the extreme polarities of tradition and rebellion, not knowing there was another way. She disappeared after that. So this consideration is for all those who have, with good intentions, hooked a racehorse onto a plow. You don't need to become needlessly destructive to correct that mistake. Keep in mind we are discussing biological impulses. The events of nature are not obligated to conform themselves to our ideals regardless of our insistence. The pursuit of a monogamous relationship without being happily available for your partner amounts to irresponsibility or cruelty or both. So we should adapt our responses to the reality, not our opinions about that reality. Once, in a grocery store, a woman asked a shelf stalker if there was any food to be thrown out because she was so very hungry. The young girl stuttered that they can't give away unfit food. The woman pleaded, "But you don't understand. I am so very hungry." She was old and homely. I was on the verge of tears and I gave her some money and wished her well. The point here, desperation forsakes quality. There are many more people in this situation than we think when it comes to sexuality, and many of those are married. Like a caged animal that bursts out with excitement and runs straight into traffic, the held-back desire for pleasure can go off half-cocked. Add the use of alcohol, and the risk increases because the loss of inhibition gets coupled with the dulled sensation. This tends towards extremes. When unsafe sex or abusive and crazy partners lead to real remorse or misery, the idea to go back into the cage arises. The dichotomy of either living in a small fenced yard or playing beyond the fence with matches and gasoline creates enormous tension. But this is a black or white fallacy. Birds stretch their wings and flutter around the nest before the vast sky becomes their playground. We don't need to abandon reason to leave the nest, nor do we pretend that an experienced bird can't also be caught by a cat. That is different than a fledgling flopping around on the ground playing with the kitty. Those beyond the Jekyll and Hyde world of sex have experiences that may not be ideal, but they are certainly worthwhile, and they are kind to share their experiences and criticisms, and of course are subject to criticism themselves. Remember, nobody knows the outcome of human interactions. If we learn anything from tradition, it suggests that confidence and strong feeling in an idea doesn't guarantee anything. What we have done before may not happen again, nor can we really be assured of a particular result by imitating others. My approach for 2 decades has been that there are many people that are wonderful to love. The trial and error of finding those people is like being in a traveling caravan. The precious freedom to come and go hasn't stopped some from staying for many years. Some move from lovers to friends, or vice versa. Not everyone has a temperament for such a life, but those who do make it very juicy. Thanks.